Welcome to the Warrior's Way Home podcast.
You are going to run across setbacks, even with what we do, with teaching guys and, the business side of things like that. You're going to face setbacks in your journey, especially when you're trying to change yourself, especially. You're going to face those setbacks. And I know you work with a lot of guys who really want to make that transformation in themselves, whether it be weight loss or the mentality or whatever it may be. And because a lot of times that goes hand in hand, because weight loss is a lot of times a side effect of you getting your shit together, of you getting your life together, getting yourself back on track, becoming more disciplined. The weight part is a side effect of getting yourself more healthy mentally, physically, and emotionally. We all know that. For those guys that you train and work with that running into those setbacks, how do you teach them to overcome that, to move past that, to keep to not just let that be the end of what they're going, because they're going to face them again and again. What do you teach them to move forward when they face those?
So for me, it's about really diving into their belief system and what's truly holding them back individually, because we all have these intricate things that are holding us back as men. We can say that it's certain things, but we cannot make this broad. We need to really bring this down to the precise detail. And again, it goes back to the goal for life. Like, we need to stop focusing so much on this short-term goals and all these short-term angles and visions. And I don't know where that comes from. It could be social media, it could be the comparison trap, but we
Short
really
attention
start
span.
thinking long-term, but bring our vision long-term, but also short-term as well. And again, it goes back to that goal of life and that development of life. Like, what man do you truly want to be? It's more than the gym. Like, do you want to be respected by your family, your community? Like, what are your values? Like, do you have a strong character? And once we really dive deep into that and we understand truly the man that you want to be, then you're not going to really have any issues with long-term motivation, because you know what you have to do. You know that people are relying on you. You know you have to inspire yourself and the people around you. Like, there's so much bigger things going on than just how you feel. We need to go over that, and we need to take action immediately on your on your true power, and that development that we're all seeking. But again, it's only us as individuals who can define that. And once we really dive deep into the belief sets holding it back, we are good to go.
That's a question. For my son and my grandson, be a man. For the guys that I've grown up around, the guys like Ed and everybody else, just be a man and be a human being. I'm far from perfect, but I strive sometimes. And then sometimes I don't. I may wake up and then just say, it is what it is. I am what I am. And I guess what I want to say is, if there's something you want to do, do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Give it a shot. You never know till you try. Be good, as good as you can be to people. Of course, you're not going to be good to everybody. Somebody's going to always think that you're doing them wrong. And you just got to and keep moving forward.
And I'm always training, I'm always working, I'm always busting my ass. So JD got to send me home sometimes, or even Miss T and Coach Nick got to send me home sometimes, because they're like, bro, like, how many times you want to train today? It's like, you already did like 2 jiu-jitsu classes, 2 kickboxing classes, and you did your strength and conditioning. Right. Why are you still here? It was like, because I want to be. But it's like, you can't let that. And then the other part of it is like, you got to have that balance. Like, you got to be, okay, I'm going to push myself. I'm going to do everything to stay disciplined, but I also have to have my free time. I have to have my mind being clear, because if not, that's another form of them winning, because now you're obsessed. Oh, yeah. So, I want to be obsessed with the dream. I want to win. I want to fight. But there's also times to decompress, and that's something I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, a healthy obsession, for sure.
I think I'll speak on Men's Mental Health Month.
Sure.
I'm a huge advocate for mental health, and I just find someone to talk to, I think.
Yep.
And you are more important than you feel like you are. There's always going to be someone who will listen. There's always going to be someone to talk to, and there's much more for you in this life than taking it. So I want to end on that note, I think.
Facts. Yeah, man.
For all, but that's the thing, when you are able to name it, you can tame it. And responses are just things that just come to the surface subconsciously. So you're going to have a response. What will you choose? And sometimes, hey, we don't get it right all the time. So I don't proclaim to sit here and just, project out like I make mistakes all the time, but I work on my mind. My mind is mine.
Mm.
My mind is mine. And people don't make you do things.
Yeah.
People say, oh man, you making me do that. Oh man, they
Make
didn't
me
make
feel like this. Yeah,
Come
I hate
on, man.
Right.
that
Cut it out, man.
so
Take some
much.
accountability.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Really?
Facts.
Yeah, they did. They didn't make you do that. Feelings ain't facts.
Mhm.
They didn't. He did not tell you pick this chair up and hit me in the head. Oh man, no, man. He made me do it, man. You see, he was talking to me like that. So is that the first person that talked to you like that? I mean, it seemed to me you're not dealing with stuff because the stuff is coming to the surface. This person got the energy of all the other people you wanted to say something to.
You have to be very careful because there's a power dynamic that, and especially if you watch all the different martial arts movies in there, it's like the master, right?
Yeah.
He's the master. You don't want to be I tell martial arts school owners, as best I can. The idea is don't be the sage on the stage, be the guide on the side, right? Don't be the guy that's fallible.
Bars, okay.
Right? Just because you're not a perfect person, and sometimes like people are going to take your example for things too. But because I have to be a good leader and I am influential in my, working with young kids too, I have to live the cleanest and most honorable life that I possibly can. And I wasn't doing it for a long time. I can tell you that it took me many, many years. I think I'm in a pretty good spot right now. But, at one point in my life, I had a whole bunch of different vices and I was doing them as much as I can and thinking that it was just, it was the way to be, I mean, even Bruce Lee at one point was doing a lot of cocaine, a lot of marijuana. And
when he got into acting and everything like that, got into that realm of things, he started partying with some people who introduced him to some stuff that had nothing to do with fighting.
Right. He can do it, and he can be like this martial arts movie star, and maybe I can do it too. And so therefore that's a perfect example of like, if the master does it, maybe this is a lesson that you could take for yourself. And that was not the way to live for me. I can tell you that. Like that, it was a tough time. It was definitely a tough time. But
one of the biggest things, as I told you, I think you have to learn from the things that you're getting in. I wasn't getting a monetary award at all from the Peace Fund, not a certain time, but the things I learned about life, about people in need was huge. One of the biggest ones I ever learned was when I did my first interview for an organization. I think it was New Brunswick, not New Brunswick, Vermont, somewhere up in that area. And I was doing the interview, and the guy said to me, "Do you realize that the grade 3 reading level is extremely important?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, the prisons here, they go by the grade 3 reading level to decide how many prisons they're going to build." Wow. Because if you're not up to date with the prison level by grade 3, you're probably going to turn to crime, drugs, or something else that's going to put you in prison eventually. And a lot of states actually do that. So imagine that. And to my thing, we had a program that was just basically reading. It was a reading program so that you could actually, help kids that would read. And the biggest thing is parents. I know you have a lot of time. You don't have time. Read to your kid. The amount of reading words that you give them, an ability to learn by just reading to them when they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old is immense. Immense. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily teach them to read. What it teaches them to do is explore and have open their creative mind of how to do things. Yeah. So by doing that, you really allow them to grow because the left and right cortex of the brain, the differences between the two, there's the right cortex and the left cortex. One is the creative side, one is the learning side, and there's a connection there. If you learn a mathematical problem, or if you learn a language, or learn music, it connects that and allows you to learn quicker. Therefore, if increasing that creativity side in their brain, their learning side in math, in physics, in all those other things gets greater.
I want people to be safe. I want to be healthy. I want us to have healthy children. And I mean healthy, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally and spiritually. You know what I mean? And I also don't want our men to drain themselves. When you do that, then what you're doing is you're destroying your masculinity. You're destroying your masculinity. Your masculinity is going like this.
Yeah.
But and I'm speaking like of the porn stuff, because that porn thing is big, right? You're just it really is better to be with a woman, right? At least there's some kind of there's going to be an exchange, but make sure it's the right woman. But what I'm saying is that porn thing, man, is like you're tearing yourself down. When you walk into the room you almost can feel like people know that you do that. And when you're on top of your mastering your sexual energy, when you walk in the room, people can feel that too. When they look at you like, what? You know what I mean? They can feel it, right? Your chances of success improve. The universe will open up to you. It will open up to you. He respects what I've given him. Oh, let me give him more.
And I'll say this. I'll say this, man. And I don't want to get off of any line, but I've been at a mountaintop. I've been at a peak in life, the very opposite of a bottom, where things were happening, man, where it's like, bro, this is too good to be true. Money flowing a certain way. It's like, bro, this bag, like, what am I gonna do with it? And man, I've been in that situation and allowed somebody, which it was me I'm taking accountability of it, but allow somebody to see that light and snatch me out of it in 24 hours. A person I had known I should have blocked out of my life had been blocked out, and I let them see. I answered that phone call. Like, damn, man, sometimes, man, I got people I ain't talked to in years. I saw that phone call come through, and I said, you know what? I don't need to answer this phone call. I already know what that relationship. I answered that phone call, brother, in 24, 48 hours. All my blessings were like running from me. Because what they were saying is, this person you brought into your world, they don't fit where you are. And since you've gotten emotionally involved with this person in 24 hours, as soon as you talk to her, going to see her, it's like, this can't remain here. Man, that was hell, bro.
Yeah.
When I say hell, I never want to experience that. Never. I don't even want my enemy to experience that.
Man.
It was pure hell, bro. For
would
2
you say
years,
that was,
I had to come back out of that thing, man. But
damn, 2 years?
God almighty, man.
Jeez. Kind of goes back to that idea of continuous self-improvement. When anybody comes in here to train, the idea is to push yourself to what your limit is and then try to surpass that limit. So, and it doesn't matter if you're, you work a desk job during the day, or you're a professional fighter preparing for your next big match, right, internationally. Wherever you're at in your journey, that's your limit. Great. You come in here and train that day, try to move it. Try to move that marker just a little bit to the right, right? Try to go beyond a little bit where you're at, because that is the process of self-improvement. And
that 2% improvement.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's one of those deals, like, life's hard.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And we all have stuff comes up. And it could be, like I said, injury. It could be financial. I lost my job. It could be a lot of different things. And so you're going to have setbacks. But the whole point is that you can never stop. You can never give up and just say, well, that's just what it is. My life sucks. I guess I quit. Nope, you can't. No matter how bad the setback is, you start the process over again. And you start building back up, right? And you find your limit again, and then you push beyond it.
Okay. It's a good analogy for masculinity. Carry a big stick and speak softly.
Yes.
You don't have to yell because you have a giant stick with you. You don't need to be swinging it around, or you don't need to be trying to get people's attention, because you clearly have the tools that you need to be able to do something. You speak softly out of respect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because you have the big stick doesn't mean that you need to be all posturing and that's the toxic masculinity, or rather that's the
toxic.
That's the negative connotations that are being added to masculinity. But to have
trying to be associated with masculinity.
Trying to be associated with masculinity. But to have the composure That is the perfect encapsulation to me of masculinity. Is you have the composure and the self-control to speak softly. Hey, how are you? How's your day going?
Yep.
But to know that if you get active, I got this stick waiting.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even have to have this conversation to this point. Where we're going on 40 minutes to try to get our point across about what masculinity is. It's not a feeling. It's a role. It's a role that you can choose to step into, and that as a man, I feel like you should step into.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a default. Maybe that's just how we've been raised. Is that a man should be masculine, but we didn't say alpha. We didn't say toxic. We didn't say go out there and beat everybody over the head with something and claim you're the best. We just said understand what your role is.
Yeah.
Try to understand all the aspects of that, and then move accordingly.
Even in the best case scenario, man, there can be definitely struggles.
Yeah.
That aren't talked about. It's just like, we just take it on and say, hey, I got this problem, and don't mention it. Don't say that I'm struggling with this, figuring out what it's like to be a man, because I never saw it. All these different things like that. A lot of guys just suffer in silence, and maybe they figured it out, but they never bring it back up again. They're like, hey, man, it's what I went through. It's like, dude, help somebody else not go through that. It's like that's all that we're trying to do.
Avoid that altogether.
In this scenario is just like helping guys who are going through this, and not to like we talk about, not to continue the cycle. To skip the stitches if possible. For the next generation and the generation after that, because, like I said, there can be 3 lines of men following you. They're going through this. They go through the same shit. That have the same problems or worse than you have, because you didn't do your job to figure out what your issues are, to figure out your issues are, to actually take a look at them, to figure out what you need to do to fix it, and actually fix it.
100%.
And come through on the other side. And most of our life as men is just us. For those of us who have been in these situations where we didn't have that male figure to kind of lead us as much as we would have liked, a lot of times we just spend our life trying to become the men we wish we had as heroes. And that's really what it's about, man. It's like, we need to become the men that we wish we had as a hero, for a lot of us, and if you had that, better it, because you can always do better. They should want to see you do better. I don't want when I have kids, for them to go through the same shit that I've gone through, to have the same struggles, to have the same pain. I want you to have different pain. That I was like, I never imagined how terrible it was to be born with money. Or it's like, you poor baby, you grew up in, grew up in a big house on a beach. It's like, you poor thing.